To knit this little bunny, you're going to need some supplies. So to begin with, you won't need very many things. You'll just need a couple things. At the end, we'll need a few more. So obviously, you're going to need some yarn. My favorite yarn for this project is Caron Simply Soft. It comes in a huge range of colors. It's fairly cheap. It is an acrylic yarn and it is very soft, just like the name. So any color you want, but I would highly recommend that you don't pick a super dark color. This is not a great time to knit a black bunny. Navy blue might be a little bit rough. Most any other color is going to be great. You can choose something realistic, or if you want a hot pink bunny, you can do that. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Darker colors, once you've done some knitting, obviously you're going to want to try those out. But to begin with, they're a little harder because you can't see your stitches as well. And right now we really want to be able to see our stitches. So you need some yarn. And there will be a supply list down below. You will need knitting needles. There are lots of options available for knitting needles. I recommend wooden needles to start with, or bamboo, if you can. If you can't, you can go with metal needles, but the wood is just got a little more friction on it, and that means that your stitches are slightly less likely to fall off. I love metal needles, and once you've been knitting longer, I highly recommend you try them out, because at some point you're going to want that slipperiness. But to start with, I don't recommend it. So a few different ways you can go. You can go with a circular needle like this. We're not going to be knitting in the circular, but you don't need to do that for this. These are my very favorite kind of needles. They're easier on my wrists, which I like, and they're pretty. Anyway, you can buy these at KnitPicks, and I'll have a link below. Another great option is going to be some Clovers. These are a straight needle, and they are made of bamboo. These are pretty easy to find just about everywhere. Most of your craft stores will likely have these available. Mostly. I will say that mine did not when I went to find them, but it was just because they were out of stock on the size I needed. But they had everything else. So anyway, these are, they're not too long, which I recommend. These are I think these are a 9-inch, which is great for what you're doing. You will see needles that are like 12 or 13 inches. I don't recommend them. I used them some when I first started knitting because it seemed like a good idea and I didn't know any better. And what would happen with this project, it's not going to matter too much. So they're just going to kind of get in your way. On a longer project, that weight starts to really hit the edge of the needles, and it is, again, hard on the wrist. So the shorter is good. I recommend shorter. So these are bamboo. These are Clovers. We got KnitPicks in a circular. This is a 24-inch, and it is a interchangeable needle. It doesn't have to be interchangeable. That's just what I use. So we need needles and yarn. To start with, that's about all you're going to need. Oh, and maybe some scissors. But even the scissors, you don't need those right away. So basically, you need needles and you need yarn. That's it. Pretty easy, right? So those are the things that you're going to want to start with. Now, if you have a buddy who knows how to knit, grab them. I recommend that if you can, have someone else cast on for you and knit the first 4 rows. Now, if you can't, that's okay. I will go through all those steps on what to do. But if you have somebody available who can do that, this is not cheating. This is very helpful, and this will help you get started. And then on your next project, I can teach you how to cast on. But if you have somebody available who can knit that first little bit, they'll just make it a little easier. If you can't, no big deal. Later on, you will need some scissors. You will want some Poly-fil. That's that stuffing stuff that makes everything so nice and fluffy. You will want a pom-pom maker, or you can actually use a piece of cardboard, but pom-pom makers are really handy for this little bushy tail. And you're going to want a little bit of yarn in a different color for your eyes. And and you're going to need a yarn needle. But again, those supplies you will not need until after your bunny is mostly done, because that's just for the finishing. I hope to see you soon in the first class.